40 minutes the clock reads. I'm seeing it clearer every day, it's like every day, I say a similar thing, but, it becomes a little clearer each day, as far as, right, the movie critic is one of my characters, He does write about the world all around him and feels lost, because that's how Quentin feels, But he's exacted his mind in such a diametrically opposite way to how I operate as a psychic, that I could not see that the truest things that he was addressing are directly related to me and my contributions to the film, namely his feminine side, right? So now, I just sent an email, and I know that he's like really struggling with this, like in a real way, that like his feminine side has expressed, right, clear disdain over the script, right, that they have certain stipulations in order for it to work for them emotionally and intellectually. And being how he is, right, being addicted to controlling people as a psychic because he cannot conceive children, right, he is struggling in such a palpable way with the reality that now there is an intellectual man occupying his feminine side, saying, where does your behavior stem from? And now I see everything, and it's sad because like I couldn't be cool, because like I just needed to be cool, I just needed to not like be an angel, needed to be a devil, just like a little bit, And in exchange for that slime, which I have now, I still got it. It's not like I didn't get it, right? That like really the fate of the film was sealed as soon as he remote viewed me the first time. That's like this is what he's like really struggling with, like as a psychic, that he did in fact, right? He set the foundation as a psychic, right? That's the point, right? And so he couldn't have known until at least Tribeca that I don't respect psychics or psychic manipulation. That I think that that's a base abuse of wisdom that diverts, right, your spiritual energy away from mastering yourself. That's the point. Right? That in seeking to control someone with your mind, you are telling the Almighty, the Ancient of Days, right, that I have no control over my own mind. Because the reality, the harshest spiritual truth that he's realizing now is that there is only one mind. Right? The jailer, simply, I would we were all of one mind and one mind good. There would be desolation for jailers and gallowses. Right? So the women read this script, right, in their abject terror, in their complete submissive humiliation to Quentin that they exist in constantly. That's their baseline psychological frequency, that they're skanks. The whole industry knows that they get abused by Quentin as much as they want. They've always known that. Because, right, he's been famous for 30 years now, right? This is what he does. Right? And so now my point is that, right, he's never actually sought to reconcile his feminine side with his intellectual writer side until the movie critic in a real way. Right? Where he hates himself so much, he wanted to debase these women and turn it into this violent, ugly thing that excited people, right? And cast his black magic spell over the world, right? And so the women saw my material and said, this pillar of light, like he's the one that needs to be between my legs when I'm tied up. You get it? And so, right? Now, right, this is what's happening, right? Like now that I see everything, right? Like as a clairvoyant, right? As a master, I'm seeing everything and seeing how unmagic the whole endeavor is. And now, right, the gauntlet, like we're running the gauntlet, like that's like what's happening, right? That I'm going to shame every single one of them because they've all known the entire time that this has been about the women and he's being weird about the women because it was the women who wanted to meet me, right? And so Quentin, right, like Quentin wrote this film because he hates women, because he can't conceive biologically. That's the point, right? And so when the women got motivated by their reproductive organs, like by being excited sexually about a man, right, that in Quentin allowing them to just speak to me and seduce me like they wanted, right, he's telling the Ancient of Days, he's telling the industry, I accept that I cannot control women's reproductive organs biologically. That's like, you get it? And so, right, if a man wants to possess their biological organs, right, like truly, holistically, like in love, it has to be filtered through my psychic slime. Otherwise, they have to get raped by another man and be able to do nothing about it. That they have no choice but to get raped by this man on this film set that I control and then be paraded all over the world and convinced that it was worth your time, worth destroying your psyche. And when you get that pointless fucking brass statue, right, at the beginning of the following year, you can know that you can cut your wrists and feel good about yourself because you did something for Hollywood. Yes, like that's the point. Like that's the point, right? They have a mind. They have. Oh, okay. So, okay, I'll entertain this, right? Oh, I can't control him as a psychic, just like he can't control their reproductive organs as a man. You get it, right? So now I have to destroy him with my mind. I have to destroy their reproductive organs with my mind. Therefore, Brad Pitt, you violently rape them as hard as you can. I don't have to tell you, but now I've told you. You get it? Right? Does it feel good getting fucked by the movies? Where's Brian protecting you? Yeah, like no, I think that whole like that whole thing was satanic, right? That it was like a disgusting exercise in control, and they had crew like walking around like minions, unaware, like purely disgusted in their minds because they felt the energy like of the women's souls, right? Like that's like, yeah, that's the point. That's the point, right? And so now that bile, right, is disseminated into every fucking frame of that film. There's no joy in that film at all, right? There's no beauty, there's no love. It's all control, all sickness. That's the point. Like that's like this is the statement that Hollywood is making right now, right? That on the highest levels, like we disseminate hundreds of millions of dollars towards black magic evil, towards unhealthy psychiatric illness. That's what our money is best suited for, and anyone who gets in the way of that is in fact nothing but a miserable bastard that deserves to die. That's the point, right? That the women don't get to like liberate their minds. They don't get to mature and grow up around this movie. No, they get controlled through this movie. That's it. Right? And so this is, right, he's lost them forever, right? Like every woman in town hates that movie now. Right? That for all that like the press aren't talking about it, this is the only thing that anyone in town's talking about. Right? That I'm cranking out, right, 15,000 words a day. Right? And so the answer is fourfold, fivefold. You know, the easiest answer that I worry the most about is that he'll just murder all of us. Like, why shouldn't he? Like, he's obviously not well in his mind. You know, like, that's like my point, you know? And if he has to control my body as a psychic, then it has to be a conscious effort. That's the point, you know? That I don't, like, subtlety, like cunning, deception, manipulation, guile, I don't respect those tactics. Right? So, like, if you want me to die, like, and it's pretty obvious that, like, you do, right? You just have to come here, right? With any one of those guns that you have, blow me away. I'll let you do it, you know? And maybe I'll beat your fucking ass and kill you. You know, like maybe that'll happen too, you know? Because you're old and fat. Right? But what I'm saying is that, right, you have options, right? You have options, right? You can let them go, keep your satanic monument, right? We'll never say anything about it. Stacey Sher, Shannon McIntosh, right? Those fucking skanky witches that like supported you like doing this thing to these women, right? They can talk about how cool that movie is, right? Or, right, we can do it all again and do it all above board, all white magic, right? And have it like actually be like a beautiful love spell, you know, like they always saw in their minds, you know? Like that's the highest magic, right? Or, right, you can blow your brains out. Like that's like, or, right, even still, the last one, right? You can accept that I'm going to destroy this film in the eyes of the intelligentsia, and I already have, in the critical establishment. Right? That's the point. That's the point. So it's redemption and success, right? Through, right? Accepting me as your psychic equal, right? Accepting, right, that you haven't treated women well in their minds for a long time. But now we're going to start doing that because, like, he does love them, and he does see them as the children that he debased sexually for a long time, for their entire young adult life, right? That's the point. So, Daniela, you know, systems of control, psychic occultism, psychic initiation, right? And I know that he's seeing it now. I know that he is seeing that, like, he came into the dragon's lair, right? That he saw me living like a calm life without, like, anything, you know? Nothing but the arts, you know? And he sought to penetrate into that and disseminate like what makes him whole as a person inside of me. But of course, the only thing that makes anyone whole is beauty, right? That's it, is love, right? And so, right, he doesn't love anything. That's the point, right? He doesn't love writing. He doesn't love the movies. He doesn't love women. He doesn't love sex. He doesn't love the world, right? He hates the world, right? He has a serious like complex like with God. He feels that God jilted him, and so he has to exact this sadistic psychic control over the world, right, to justify his existence. That's like what I'm saying, right? And so, right, that's not why I wrote. Like, he's always been enough. Like, oh, I'm broken too, man. You know, like, God damn. No, don't think that. Like, you don't have to think that. That's the point, right? Like, I love you. I actually love you, right? You don't have to, right? You don't have to control me as a psychic for me to love you and want you to have a successful film. I know that writing's hard, you know, like I know, dude. You know? And this is what he's struggling with, that he feels that I can't possibly love him if I don't respect him as a psychic. And that's not true. That's a lazy answer. That's not true. That's a lazy, I didn't make him write the movie. I didn't make him do that. Right? I didn't make him decide to debase these women in this ritualistic fashion, right? But if you've all agreed to do that, right, and you see it as some sort of sadistic monument to your psychic control over the world, right, then in denying the women the right to pursue it, like in the way that they know they need to, right, you're denying the beauty and the truth within yourself. That's the point, right? That you mutated the one beautiful thing and like made it about your mind, which they despise. They don't love the way that you treat them. They don't like the way that you treat them at all. They don't want to be around you anymore. They don't want to see you anymore. Right? That when you did that, you mutated their purity, like their like excitement, like over this like really disgusting film and made it about your disgusting control. That's the point. And when I walked away from it, they said, yes, like, no, this is like, this means something. This can't like, I don't like the way you treat me. I don't like the way that this is going. I don't like the idea of you just debasing me. I like this man. I want to be in love with this man. I want to put myself in front of him and explain to him that like, I would really appreciate it if he did play the role, because like, I do have feelings for you. And I know that like, we could be good together. Like, do you get like how magic that is? That's like actual magic. That's like an actual master, like seeing his disciples, like seeing the spell, right? That's the point, right? And so therefore, he is not a master. He is a high priest of nothing. He does not understand magic. He doesn't know what he's trying to do. He doesn't understand intention. He doesn't understand psychic occultism, all these things. That's like, boom, gavel, right? That's the rule, right? And so, right, I can be still and look in my mind and never need money or fame or status and still make a statement artistically, right, that means something before the eye of God, which is the only eye that matters, right? Quentin could not humble himself in any way. That's the point, right? That he sat there, like he canceled that movie. I keep thinking about this. Like he canceled that movie and then he waited for 3 weeks for me to show up and like beat down the door when I wrote him and he refused my letter, right? That's right. Like that. This is right. These are the things that I didn't see. That he has trouble like speaking normally to people. I guess it doesn't make any sense to me. He has all the money in the world. Money doesn't equal happiness. That's the point. That he treats them so badly. That he doesn't respect anything. He has all the money in the world because he feels broken as a man. That he can't look out and see how celestial and fine his wife is. But he can't look out and see how beautiful Sydney Sweeney and Mikey Madison are, right? Because he's broken biologically, right? And so those things that he can't like love and like genuinely, maturely, sincerely, right? They have minds too. They're also psychic witches, right? Like that's like, right? And so they begin disseminating their slime inside of him, like in relation to me, right? And so when he denied my writing and he turned his back, right? He was telling me this is not about writing, right? And this is what I got scared about because of my vow, that this is about the women. This is about someone, right, justifying their whole life around you, right? And so since I only know how to control people as a psychic, I don't really know how to behave like a father to this woman that like wants to love you, like I don't know how to do that because this is the only way that I know how to behave, right? Because I can't conceive. You get it? It's really sad. It's really sad on a fundamental level. Right? That a father, right? He's got to let him go, like he's got to let him, right? At some point, they have to be able to go out and be young and spread their legs for men they come to regret, right? That's the point, yeah? That they were saying, oh, we know what's good about this movie, and it's him in relation to us. And that's beautiful, and that's magic, right? And so Quentin, right, he destroyed all the magic, right? There's nothing, right? As soon as he made it about his mind, right, as soon as they said, we still want to talk to him, no, we can help him see better than you can. That's the point, right? We have things that you don't have, right? And we know he'll respect that and submit to that. Yes, that's what I'm saying, right? But because he hates women, because he can't conceive, you get it, right? It has to be filtered through his psychic control, right? And so now, right, he's done it. He's done it. That now we're all ruined, we're all fucked up psychologically, and we'll think about Quentin in relation to our sexual identities, and it will have nothing but his disgusting bile disseminated all through it until we are together for years. Yes, yes, that's the point. That's the point. It's not going to be cool, sexy, fun time, and it will be because we'll be begrudgingly turned on, right? That's yes, they're bitter, they're spiteful. That's the point, right? That he's done it. He did it. He made them like them, right? And now they're so fucking bitter and miserable, they're just ready. They're just itching to fucking leave Hollywood and never look at that disgusting town ever again. That's yes, that's the point. That's the point. Right? So, if it takes an angel suing, I ain't never getting out. Right? Angels don't care about money. Right? So, somebody wants to buy me a one-way ticket, I could probably get them out from under him, just by going to the Los Feliz 3 or WME or one of these places. Saying, I'd like to speak to someone about my letters now. I'd like to actually speak to someone, or I'm going to call the LAPD, But until someone sees, right, the light in me and sees that, I am telling the truth and there's nothing but truth in my heart, then all I can do is talk about it. All I can do is, send my messages of psychic love, out to the world, right? And so the point that I made in the last email is that, it's just time, it's just time to, blow your head off, if you are that miserable, You never understood the psychic mind game. You never understood esotericism, right? That if you're really prepared, right? If you're really prepared, right, to go 15 years without acknowledging me, without actually, speaking to me, then you need to kill yourself. That's it. That's it. Or kill your family, or, you have to do something. I'm never going to kill myself. Your mind's not that strong. Right? I do respect those women's minds. Right? I'll be the voice of dissent. I get it. Because they're the ones that always needed me. I see. Right? Sometimes a prophet has to sacrifice the beautiful things. Right? I never needed them. Right? That's why they need me. That's the point. I never needed Quentin as a psychic father. I wanted to help him as a filmmaker. You get it? And so as a writer, as a man, as a child of God, right, there is no magic without truth in your heart. Right? This is the point, right? That we confess before the altar of God, and thereby we've done everything we can. But if there is a grain of untruth, like Aaron's sons, who died of strange fire in the Bible, nothing works. Right? Everything's perfect, or nothing works. Right? Synergy, right? Notions of synergy. The circulatory system doesn't think about the nervous system. Right? The nervous system doesn't think about musculature, right? All these things, right? But together they create a whole identity, Adam Kadmon, right? The universal man. And so, right, that film is broken, fundamentally. Right? It's been a disgusting exercise in control that now everyone is bluntly, overtly aware of. Right? That he's been exacting black magic manipulation over all of you, right? To maintain control of these women's minds, because he lost it the moment that they fell in love with me when they read my letters, because it justifies the film. That's the point, right? Deep, simple, psychological truths that he denies in himself. So, God bless.